Planet Dolan.
From being punched in the stomach by Santa
to peeing in the woods,
the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the weirdest things we've been asked to do.
I'm Hellbent.
And I'm Nixium.
And today we'll both be narrating.
Number 10 was submitted by Ral365. A few years ago at an anime convention, which is, home to a lot of weird stuff in general, Pringle was cosplaying as the warden from the anime series Super Jail. While strolling outside the convention center, out of nowhere, this one fangirl wearing Japanese cat ears sneaks up from behind. She was playfully pretending to stalk Pringle. He didn't think anything of it until she put a plastic collar tied to a fake chain around his neck. Pringle was caught off guard at first, but she told him that she was just really happy to see someone cosplaying from a show that was falling into obscurity. She then wanted to take a picture with Pringle with the collar around his neck, pretending to be scared. It was all in good fun, but even by convention standards, it was kind of weird.
Number 9 was submitted by CrayCrayFox10. When Dolan was 13, he was over at his friend's house playing video games. In the middle of a game, his friend dared him, "If you lose this game, then you have to wear my sister's bikini, but if you win, I'll give you $20. Dolan couldn't pass up an opportunity to make $20, so he accepted the deal. Under all that pressure, Dolan failed miserably. As promised, he put on the bikini. The moment he had the slightly too small outfit on, his friend's sister opened the door. Dolan was never allowed back in that house ever again.
Number 8 was submitted by ClydeIsMyName. Doopy was shopping at the mall with her mother, and they both decided to go to the food court for some grub. After getting their food and drinks, Doopy's mom went to the restroom, leaving her with their belongings. That's when Doopy noticed a woman in a subway uniform walking towards her. Once they were face to face, the subway lady asked her,
"Can you do me a favor and take my shift while I go buy something?"
Doopy was dumbfounded. She declined to help, but the lady would not stop begging. Eventually, she tossed her apron and hat at Doopy and just walked off. Instead of going after the lady, she decided to put on the subway uniform. Why did she do this? Good question. I don't know. When Doopy's mom came back, she noticed her daughter was no longer at the table. She found her behind the subway counter, walked over and said, "Yes, I'll get a my kid is in trouble to go."
Number 7 was submitted by Esper the God. In Spinal Pump's middle school, there was a group of weird kids that sat together at lunch. Their leader was very short, with hair covering his eyes. The leader of the weirdos walked up to Spinal Pump during free period while he had a tall kid piggybacking on him. For about a minute, they both stared at Spinal Pump while he stared right back. The leader eventually asked, "Can you stand to the right of that bean?" Spinal Pump looked around for a bean but found nothing. "No, that one," he said as he pointed to the middle of the hallway. Spinal Pump walked over and stood where he pointed. Out of nowhere, 5 kids circled around him chanting in unison, "Hail the bean! Hail the space whale!" over and over. To this day, Spinal Pump still doesn't know what that was all about.
Number 6 was submitted by Socially Awkward. When Gurgak was 9, he was out playing in the woods with his cousin and a neighbor girl who was slightly older. When going on long walks in the forest and the urge came to pee, Gurgak would find a bush somewhere far off the path and do his business, rather than walk all the way back home. While they were climbing around on a tree, his cousin proudly announced that he was going to go home to pee, leaving Gurgak there with this girl. Gurgak climbed over to the girl and said,
Yeah, he could have just peed in a bush or something. Why did he run back?
She looked at him for a second, and then she laughed.
Pee in a bush? What are you talking about?
Gurgak answered,
I don't know about girls, but I know guys that have done it.
She paused and then asked Gergak to show her. He told her to wait where she was while he ran into the bushes. Gergak made sure she couldn't see him, and he peed. When he came back, she didn't believe that he had actually gone.
You have to do it right here in front of me if you want me to believe you.
At that moment, Gergak realized that this girl was in it to see his dibbly von dangly. He gave her a funny look, turned around, and he ran like hell back to his cousin's house. Gergak never saw that girl again.
Number 5 was submitted by ImnotwiththerFBI. Ghost Toast used to work as a janitor at a fancy resort hotel. One day, his boss asked him to quietly clean out one of the supply closets at a very specific time and to not tell the other staff what he saw. When the time came to clean the very specific supply closet at said very specific time, Ghost Toast found a woman and her kids sleeping in there. For almost a week, he cleaned the supply closet on the down low, tidying up after the 2 occupants. Ghost Toast later found out that she was his boss's daughter who had recently been evicted from her apartment. Nobody was supposed to find out since it was illegal.
Number 4 was submitted by Mote-of-Lobross. Zaraganba was at the mall with a couple of his friends in the early 2000s. It was during Easter time, and the mall had a place where you could get your photo taken with the Easter Bunny, in quotes. When his friends saw this, they dared Zaraganba to wait in line and ask to have his picture taken, with the Easter Bunny pretending to punch him in the stomach. Zaraganba reached the front of the line and he requested to have his photo taken in the unusual pose. But unfortunately, the man in the bunny suit did not go for it and told him to buzz off. But later that year, they decided to try their luck again with Santa, and he was a lot more accommodating.
Number 3 was submitted by ReneAnd. Some years ago, the Eurovision Song Contest was held in Sidious's home country. He was on his way home from boarding school and lined up at the train station to buy a ticket. A 40-something-year-old woman ran in and asked the person in front of Sidious if he would buy a ticket for her. He didn't speak their language, so she ended up asking him instead. She was going to see Eurovision, but her train was arriving soon and she needed a ticket now. She gave Sidious $100, even though the ticket only cost $20, and told him to buy the ticket for her. When it was his turn, the woman just cut in line and bought the ticket herself. Sidious asked her if she wanted her money back, but she said he could keep it as a thanks for his help, even though he didn't really do anything.
Number 2 was submitted by BluestarOfFireClan. About a year ago, Pandora was standing in her living room when all of a sudden, her little sister ran in with a fake knife. She handed it to Pandora and said, "Pretend to stab me." She took the knife and stared at her sister, who pulled out a couple of packs of ketchup, placing some sauce on her shirt and the tip of the knife. Before Pandora could ask why, her sister fell down and pretended to be dead. At this moment, Pandora's brother came into the room carrying his Nerf gun. He was ranting about how their little sister had spilt water on his homework. I guess playing dead was her way of avoiding the wrath of his deadly, evil, powerful, fear-inducing Nerf gun.
What's the weirdest thing I've ever been asked to do? Well, outside of the bedroom, there's one maintenance call that still sticks in my mind today. One night, at about 4 in the morning, I get a call to go down and check on the pool table. Evidently, somebody lost an item inside of one of the pool table pockets. Didn't think it'd be anything too unusual. Somebody dropped in a $5 bill, maybe their car keys, it could be any number of things. When I arrived at the joint, I saw people dipping strips of beef jerky into the pool table pockets. I was a bit too tired to question that, so as I was plugging in my power drill, getting ready to disassemble the pool table, I see a little furry paw sticking up out of the pockets. As you probably guessed at this point, it was a little tiny kitten that had gotten inside of the pool table and had no intention of leaving. Little dude was having a blast, snatching up beef jerky, evading capture, running around at the bottom of the pool table, knocking around pool table chalk. It was a good time for him. In short order, I pop open the pool table slate, and there the little bastard is, with a strip of beef jerky in his mouth, looking up at us like, oh, we're done playing now? Not only that, but there was also a pair of car keys in there, which I can only assume fell in as an ill-fated attempt to lure the little guy out. Can't say it was a bad experience. The little bastard was cute and all, but it was a little bit odd to have to fetch a living creature out of a pool table. Thinking about it, I never asked them why they brought a kitten into a bar anyways.
Oh, alright everyone. A huge thanks to the folks over at our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. But we have another question for you. What is the best lie you've ever told to get out of trouble? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown. Alright, we're done.